AITA for walking away after she laughed at my proposal, then begged me days later? I am Daniel, 29. I asked my girlfriend, Lauren, 27, to marry me a few months ago, and she said she needed time to think. Buckle up because this is a huge mess, and I am still having trouble digesting everything that happened. We met at my buddy Brian's housewarming party 3 years ago. She was friends with his girlfriend, and I remember telling myself she was completely out of my league. But we clicked and started dating. The first 2 years were great. We traveled, had our inside jokes, the whole 9 yards. After 8 months, I gave her a tabby kitten named Buddy that she went crazy for. I had put him in a little box with a red ribbon around his neck. When he came out, she found it too cute and jumped into my arms. This cat became our baby, and we sent each other photos of him doing cat mischief all day long. Last year, we moved in together, and everything seemed perfect. We talked about our future, kids, the house, all of that. She started dropping big hints about marriage. She posted Instagram photos with rings, shared wedding TikToks, and was always talking about her friends who got engaged. So, I set aside 3 paychecks and bought this princess-cut ring that I thought she would adore. I booked a table at Romano's, that Italian restaurant she talked about all the time, and I invited our close friends to come afterward for a surprise party. I was scared to death, but excited too. But when I got down on one knee to ask her to marry me, she just stood there with a weird look. I need time to think, she finally said. The whole restaurant went silent. I felt like an idiot on my knees with the box in my hand. In the car on the way back, she finally spoke. The ring isn't exactly what I wanted. I showed you that one from Tiffany's with the bigger diamond. And Romano's? Is it really romantic, Daniel? Yeah, that is me, by the way. I should have said it sooner. I was completely lost. She had literally sent me photos of this specific style of ring, and she was the one who kept talking about Romano's. But I tried to be understanding. I can exchange the ring if that is the problem, I told her. It is not just the ring, she replied, staring out the window. I just think we should wait a little longer, to be sure we are really ready. Once we got home to our apartment, she went straight to bed. She didn't even want to discuss it. I slept on the couch with Buddy curled up in a ball on my chest, wondering what had just happened. The next day, she acted like nothing had happened. She dropped, maybe we can talk about the engagement again in a few months when you have a better plan, kissed me, and left for work as if everything was normal. I spent the day rehashing everything. What better plan did she want? I had done exactly what she had been insinuating for months. In the evening, I tried to bring it up again, but she cut me off. Can we not make a big deal out of it? I just want more time. Is it that serious? I didn't insist, but I had a bad feeling. Lauren had always been super direct about what she wanted. This hesitation didn't look like her at all. The following week, I started noticing little things. She was on her phone way more often than usual, smiling at texts but turning the screen so I wouldn't see. She took calls in the other room. She stayed later at work. Nothing flagrant, just details that didn't make sense. I didn't know what to think, but my whole being was screaming one thing. Something was wrong, and I wasn't going to wait to get played. When I asked her if everything was okay between us, she got defensive. My God, just because I didn't say yes right away, does that mean there is a problem? You are becoming paranoid. Maybe, but I couldn't shake this feeling. Then things got worse. I was petting Buddy one evening when Lauren's phone vibrated on the coffee table. I wasn't trying to snoop, but I saw the name Edward with a message preview. Can't wait for Friday. Our usual spot. When I asked who Edward was, she grabbed her phone super fast. Just a colleague. We have a team lunch on Friday. I nodded, but my brain was racing at 1,000 miles an hour. Lauren had never mentioned an Edward, and our usual spot didn't sound like a team lunch. You know what? I said in a detached tone. You are right about the ring. I will take it back this weekend, and we can choose one you like better together. On the surface, I was calm, but inside, I was already in combat mode. After that text from Edward, my brain flipped a switch. She didn't know it, but I had just set the first trap. I was done playing the naive boyfriend. This was a serious situation, and I wasn't going into it with my eyes closed. She looked relieved. That sounds perfect, honey. Then she kissed me and went to take a shower. I stayed on the couch with a knot in my stomach, trying to understand what was happening. The next day, I texted my best friend, Brian. We need to talk. It is about Lauren. We met over a beer, and I told him. He just listened to me, then said, Man, I don't want to tell you this, but this smells bad. The Lauren I know would have been over the moon about getting engaged. Do you think she is being unfaithful? I asked. Brian shrugged. I don't know, man, but the timing is fishy. She insists on a ring for months. You propose, and suddenly she wants to wait, and now she is receiving secret texts from a guy you have never heard of. Put like that, it sounded really bad. But it was Lauren. We had been together for 3 years, lived together, and had a cat together. She wasn't going to throw it all away like that. So what should I do? I asked. Keep your eyes open, said Brian. Don't accuse her of anything yet, but watch for signs. So, that is what I decided to do. Keep my eyes open. Try to understand what was really going on. I had no idea what I was about to discover. I decided to work in this coffee shop near our apartment. Lauren never goes there. She says their coffee is too expensive, so I thought it was a safe place to concentrate without running into her. I was in a corner with my laptop, headphones on, but listening to nothing, when I heard a familiar laugh. I looked up and saw Lauren walk in with her friend Jessica. They didn't notice me because of a large plant next to my booth. I was about to call out to them when I heard my name. They sat right behind me, and Lauren started talking about something that caught my attention. He really thought I was going to say yes just like that, said Lauren, laughing. A dry and mocking laugh, not her usual soft, warm laugh. No, it was something else. Cold, mean, as if she was laughing at a joke only she understood. Jessica laughed too, but looked uncomfortable. So what is your plan now? You can't keep this up forever. Lauren leaned back in her chair, sipping her latte as if she had all the time in the world. Please, Daniel isn't going anywhere. He is so eager to have me that he would propose with a candy ring if I asked him to. I have him completely in my pocket. I just have to make him wait until the right moment. Jessica hesitated. And Edward? Lauren's eyes shone. Edward is worth it. He is not living on an average salary like Daniel. He is a real man with real potential. Once his situation is sorted out, Daniel is history. I am dumping him like a pair of shoes from last season. She laughed again, dry and satisfied. He will surely cry in his cat's arms, or whatever. Pathetic, really. My stomach turned. Buddy, our cat, wasn't just a pet. He was part of the family, and she was using him as a punchline. Jessica lowered her voice. But what if Daniel proposes again before you are ready to move? Lauren shrugged as if it was nothing. Then I will do what I have to do. I will say yes. I will fake it for a while and dump him later. By then, Edward and I will be settled. It will be a bit messy, but whatever. It is not my problem if Daniel's heart is broken. It is his own fault. He is too blind. Jessica seemed uncomfortable, but Lauren didn't notice or didn't care. She was too busy wallowing in her self-confidence, playing the queen of a game where I was nothing more than a pawn. Daniel is nice, but let's be realistic, she added, sneering. He is just a safety net. Convenient to have, but not something you really need when you are ready to move to the next level. Those words hit me harder than a punch. I felt like I was seeing a stranger. Someone I thought I knew, but who clearly wasn't the one I imagined. That is harsh, replied Jessica, after all this time together. Please, Jessica, you know as well as I do that he was never the end goal. Daniel has always been a placeholder. A placeholder? What did that mean? After that, they changed the subject, talking about an office party. I heard a male name, Edward the first think, but I didn't catch the details. When they got up to leave, Jessica stayed back for a moment. Her gaze swept the room and stopped on me. She saw me sitting there. Her eyes widened slightly, as if she wasn't sure she recognized me. She hesitated, then walked past me, but not before whispering, "You deserve better." I didn't react. I just met her gaze and said calmly, "I already know." Her face tightened for a moment as if she wanted to say more, but Lauren was already calling her. Jessica gave me a little apologetic wave before following her out. When they were finally gone, I sat there for a long time trying to process what I had just heard. Lauren was plotting something that involved stringing me along. Then what? Dumping me? Starting an affair? And who exactly was this Edward from work? I had more questions than answers. But one thing was clear. The woman I thought I wanted to marry was hiding big secrets from me. I texted Brian. "Dude, you were right. I heard something weird. We need to talk fast." We met at his place that same afternoon. When I told him what I had heard, he looked furious. "Bro, I wasn't going to say anything," he admitted. "But I saw Lauren with a guy at the Westfield Mall last week. They looked close." "Westfield? But that is on the other side of town." She told me she was having a drink with colleagues near her office. Brian looked embarrassed. Dude, they weren't acting like colleagues. The way she was looking at him. Did you hear a name? Could have been Edward. Brian shrugged. I wasn't close enough, but the guy was wearing a luxury watch, a nice suit. He looked like one of those finance guys. We talked for hours. Brian finally gave me the reality check I needed. Listen, I don't know exactly what is happening, but it is clear something is wrong. You have to open your eyes. Don't take her words at face value anymore. It hurt to hear, but deep down, I knew he was right. The rejected proposal, the late nights at work, the secret texts, the conversation I overheard, everything pointed to something shady. So what do? I asked. You have two options, said Brian. Confront her now with what you know or play along. Find out what she is really plotting and then decide what to do with that info. I thought about it all night. Could I really pretend everything was fine while trying to uncover what Lauren was hiding? The emotions were there, obviously. She was tearing me apart, but I wasn't going to let them destroy me. Not yet. It was time to put on armor, keep a cool head, and outplay her. If she wanted to treat this like a battlefield, I was ready, and I intended to win. The next morning, Lauren asked me if I was ready to go ring shopping this weekend. I smiled and said I found some models at Tiffany's to look at. She looked so happy, kissed me passionately, and told me I was the best. I had never felt so empty, but I had made my decision. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with, how far it went, and if there was anything left to salvage. Brian thought I was being too cautious, that I should just confront her and end it. Maybe he was right. But after 3 years, I needed to understand what had happened to us, because if I confronted her now, she wouldn't tell the truth anyway. So, I decided to play the perfect boyfriend for a while, let her believe everything was fine, and find out who this damn Edward was and what Lauren was really planning. I checked our phone bill. There was this number she was calling and texting nonstop, especially late at night or when I was at work. It wasn't saved under a name, just a number. Then I got lucky. Lauren fell asleep on the couch one evening with her phone unlocked. Her comments about me being a placeholder and safe for a few more months were playing on a loop in my head. So, I looked, and what I found was worse than I imagined. Tons of texts with someone named Edward. Nothing directly inappropriate in what I saw, but clearly an emotional affair. Lots of I miss yous and inside jokes I wasn't part of. Then I stumbled upon a message that hit me like a truck. Just keep Daniel hooked until everything is finalized. He is already talking about proposing again. Edward had replied. And if he does before we are ready? Lauren, I will say yes. I will fake it. Then I will dump him once everything is sorted with your situation. He will be destroyed, but that is not my problem. We have already dragged this out too long. I felt nauseous. She planned to accept my proposal then dump me later. What kind of twisted game was this? And why? I continued scrolling and putting the pieces together. Edward worked at the same company as Lauren in a higher position. There were hints about this situation that needed to be sorted before they could be together openly. I guessed he was married or there was a company policy against their relationship. The worst part was that they were planning a trip to Miami next month, the same week Lauren told me she had a work conference. She was literally going to sunbathe on a beach with this guy while I would be at home planning our future. I wanted to confront her right then, wake her up, and end it all. But something held me back. If I confronted her too soon, she would flip the script. She would make it a sob story, manipulate me, deny it, and maybe even delete the evidence before I could show it to anyone. She was already planning to manipulate me. If I warned her, she would just get better at hiding. I wasn't going to give her that advantage. No, I needed irrefutable proof, a plan, something that would leave no room for her lies. She wanted to control the game, but I was about to flip the board. So, I took screenshots of everything, then carefully put her phone back. The next day, I called Brian. He came over while Lauren was at work, with Edward the first to assume, and I showed him everything. Jesus, he said, scrolling through the screenshots. That is cold, man. She played you this whole time. But why? I asked. Why not just break up with me? Why put me through a new proposal just to humiliate me later? Brian thought about it. Based on these texts, it looks like this Edward is her real target, but he is not available yet. You are just her backup plan until he is free. The backup plan, the safety net, the damn rebound guy. You have to be smart, said Brian after a moment. She plans to blindside you. Why not return the favor? I am not the vengeful type, but something inside me snapped. After seeing those messages, the way she talked about me, the future they were planning while I was putting money aside for our future. Yes, I decided to play the long game. So, I continued to pretend everything was fine. I talked about our future, started planning a second proposal, all while I was preparing my exit. I transferred half our savings to a new account she didn't have access to. I started looking for a new apartment. I documented everything in case she tried to turn our friends against me later. I also did some digging on Edward. Apparently, he is the marketing director at Lauren's company, her boss's boss. And guess what? He is married with 2 kids. The situation he had to sort out was actually his divorce, which, according to their messages, was almost finalized for months. The hardest part was acting normal. Every time Lauren kissed me or talked about our future, I had to resist the urge to confront her. Every time she said she was working late, in reality, she was with him. Me? I just replied, "I miss you, babe," and brought her favorite meal when she got home. Buddy was my wingman in all this. He is the only one who didn't lie to me. You can learn a lot about people, but cats, they are always honest. This cat looked at me with his sad eyes when I was alone in the apartment, as if he knew his family was going to break apart. I had already decided I would take him with me when I left. Lauren didn't even clean his litter box. She just posted cute photos of him on Instagram for likes. And I discovered something else interesting. Brian's cousin works at the same company as Lauren. Apparently, Edward's wife has no idea he plans to leave her. He has been telling Lauren for months that the divorce is almost finalized, but he hasn't even filed the papers. He is manipulating her as much as she is manipulating me. So, I waited, accumulated evidence, and prepared my exit. Lauren thought she was so smart that I was just her blind backup plan while she secured her promotion. She had no idea what was waiting for her, and I certainly wasn't going to give myself away too soon. If she wanted to play, I was going to play too. I let her lead the dance, believe she was in control. That is how I ended up at Tiffany's smiling like the perfect boyfriend while she tried on diamonds. But this ring shopping was a special kind of hell. Lauren tried on about 20 before choosing a huge rock that costs more than my car. I smiled and said it was perfect, that she deserved the best. She beamed, kept kissing me in the shop. "I can't wait to announce it to everyone," she said on the way back. "Jessica is going to be so jealous." I bet she will, I thought, especially when she finds out the truth. The salesperson said the ring would take 3 to 4 weeks to be resized. Perfect timing, I told Lauren. That will give me time to prepare a proposal you will never forget. She loved it. She started throwing out ideas, maybe on the beach or at that rooftop restaurant downtown. I just nodded, saying all those ideas were great. That evening, she was particularly affectionate, and I was thinking about those texts with Edward, her plan to accept my proposal then dump me later. It took all my self-control. Regarding Edward, I learned more thanks to Brian's cousin. Edward has worked at the company for 5 years. He runs the marketing department and has a reputation. He tells Lauren he is almost divorced, but in reality, he hasn't even started the process. His wife thinks he is working on saving their marriage. They even went to couples therapy last month. Lauren has no idea she is getting played too. Part of me wanted to tell her everything, to see her world crumble like mine. But that would have ruined my plan. So, I stayed silent, continuing to play the perfect boyfriend. A few days later, Lauren talked about her professional conference in Miami next month. "You are going to miss me so much," she said without looking me in the eye. "But it is a great opportunity for my career." "I am proud of you," I replied. "Maybe I could join you for the weekend and surprise you." The panic on her face was priceless. "No, I mean we will be in meetings all the time. You would be bored, and I would feel guilty ignoring you." "You are right," I said. "I will plan something special for your return instead." She relaxed immediately. So predictable. I ramped up my romantic boyfriend act. I left my laptop open one evening on a custom jeweler's site, even more high-end than Tiffany's. When Lauren saw that, her eyes went wide. "What is this?" she asked. "Shoot, it was supposed to be a surprise," I said. "I know we chose the Tiffany ring, but I was thinking of something custom-made, something unique like you." She literally melted. She told me I was the most thoughtful man in the world, that she was so lucky. Then she texted someone while I was brushing my teeth, Edward, no doubt, to tell him how well her plan was working. The next day, I checked our joint account. She had withdrawn $2,000. Shopping with the girls, she claimed? Yeah, right. Probably bikinis for Miami with Edward. I don't even care about the money now. I already transferred most of my savings. What kills me is the ease with which she lies to my face, how she plans to string me along, make me blow thousands on a ring, and plan a proposal, all while preparing her new life with Edward. Brian thinks I am going too far. Confront her and end this story, he told me. This whole charade is eating you up. Maybe he is right, but every time I thought about stopping, that text came back to me like a punch. I will say yes. I will fake it. Then I will dump him once everything is sorted with your situation. He will be devastated, but that is not my problem. No, I was going to see this through. If she planned to humiliate me, she was sorely mistaken. I set the date for the second proposal next month, right after her trip to Miami. I paid the deposits and sent invitations to our friends and family. Everyone was excited, especially her parents, who always saw me as the ideal son-in-law. She thought she was going to enjoy her secret vacation with Edward, then come back to her reliable Daniel, who was preparing the perfect proposal. She had no idea what was really waiting for her. When she left for her conference in Miami, kissed me goodbye, promised to call me every night. The works, I played my part. I helped her pack. I drove her to the airport. I told her how much I was going to miss her. As soon as she cleared security, I went into action. I had planned this for weeks, and now was the time. I moved all my essential stuff to my new apartment. Not everything. That would have been too obvious when she got back. Just the essentials. Documents, family mementos, electronics, and of course Buddy. I settled him into the new place with all his favorite toys. Then I triggered the nuclear option. Remember Edward's wife? The one who was supposedly almost divorced, but who in reality knew nothing. I had found her on Facebook weeks ago, but hadn't made contact yet. Then I sent her everything. Screenshots of texts between Lauren and Edward, their plans for Miami, the whole timeline of their affair, absolutely everything. She replied in a few hours. She was devastated but grateful to know the truth. She told me Edward had done this before, that they were in couples therapy because of a past incident. She asked for my number, and we talked for almost 2 hours. It turns out Edward had led Lauren to believe he was loaded, but the truth is it is his wife who had all the money. She is a corporate lawyer heiress. The house, the cars, the luxury vacations, everything came from her. But where it gets interesting is that Rachel, Edward's wife, had decided it was over. While Edward was in Miami with Lauren, she emptied their accounts, changed the locks, and prepared the divorce papers to hand to him as soon as he returned. But she wanted us to coordinate for maximum impact. Those two deserve each other, she told me. But they also deserve to know exactly what they are getting into. So, we came up with a plan. Edward and Lauren were supposed to return on Sunday. Me? I still had my second proposal scheduled for Tuesday night. But it was no longer a simple plan. It was a carefully prepared ambush like the final move of a high-stakes chess game. Every piece was already in place. Timing, precision, execution. Lauren and Edward weren't going to see anything coming until the trap snapped shut. And once it was done, it would be too late. Game over. I booked a private room at the Reserve, the fanciest restaurant in town. All our friends and family were supposed to be there to witness my proposal, except I had modified the guest list and added Rachel. I removed the string quartet, canceled the champagne, and added a projector and a screen. Sunday evening, Lauren returned from Miami glowing, tanned, and full of stories about marketing seminars and networking. She showed me photos of generic hotels as if I was too stupid to recognize a romantic trip. I just smiled and said I was glad she had a good time. I missed you so much, she lied. Work trips are so exhausting. Rest up, I told her. Tuesday, we have a big evening, a celebration. Her eyes lit up. The proposal. I nodded. I want to do it right this time, like you deserve. She jumped into my arms, told me how much she loved me. I forced myself to hold her, wondering how many times she had said those same words to Edward that week. Monday and Tuesday were torture keeping up my act, listening to her on the phone with Jessica, discussing what she was going to wear, and how she was going to feign surprise while I was finalizing the details with Rachel and Brian. Tuesday night finally arrived. I told Lauren I had to go to the restaurant early to make sure everything was perfect. She said she would join me there. Jessica was supposed to come by to help her get ready. What Lauren didn't know is that I had calculated the timing precisely. Edward was supposed to be at a late meeting according to their texts, but actually, he was receiving his divorce papers at his office around 6 p.m. Rachel had seen to it. I arrived early at the reserve. The manager knew the truth. Brian's brother works there and helped us set everything up. The private room was ready, but not with rose petals and champagne. Instead, there was a projector, a screen, and enough chairs for everyone. Our friends started arriving around 7 p.m. I had told them there would be a surprise, but not what. They all thought they were there for a marriage proposal. Even Lauren's parents came. They had always considered me their son. At 7:30 p.m., Lauren arrived looking splendid in a new dress, no doubt bought with the $2,000 from our joint account. She looked perplexed at the layout of the room, but I guided her to a seat in the center. "What is going on?" she asked, noticing there was no romantic table, just chairs facing a screen. "You wanted a proposal you would never forget," I said. "So this is what I planned." Then Rachel walked in. Lauren didn't know her. She just seemed confused. Brian started the projector, and there was a slideshow titled The True Story of Lauren and Edward, starting with their texts about me, the ones where she clearly said, "I will say yes. I will fake it, then I will dump him once everything is sorted. He will be devastated." But that is not my problem. It continued with their photos in Miami. Yes, Rachel had access to Edward's cloud. It ended with screenshots of Lauren withdrawing money from our joint account to fund all this. Lauren's face went from confusion to horror, then to rage. She tried to lunge at the projector, but Brian blocked her. "What the hell is this?" she screamed. "Who are all these people?" "These are our friends," I said calmly. "The ones you thought you were celebrating our engagement with. And here is Rachel, Edward's wife. Not his ex, his current wife." Lauren looked like she had been slapped. "You are lying. He is divorcing." He showed me the papers. Rachel stepped forward. "The only divorce papers are the ones he received an hour ago. And trust me, he won't touch a cent. As for us," I continued, "I think it is clear there will be no proposal tonight or ever." That is when Lauren lost it. She started screaming that I had set her up, that I had violated her privacy, that I was a controlling jerk. Our friends sat shocked, watching the slideshow scroll with new images. Lauren and Edward together. Her messages to Jessica saying she was stringing me along waiting for Edward. Then came the text that broke her. "Of course I don't love Daniel anymore. He is just my safety net until you are ready. Then I will break his heart. I like being a heartbreaker." Her parents were devastated. Her mother was crying. Her father couldn't even look at her. "You ruined everything," she screamed, mascara running down her face. "No, Lauren, you did this all by yourself." She tried to turn our friends against me by claiming the texts were fake, that I was manipulating everyone. But her phone vibrated. A text from Edward. "Lauren, we need to talk. Rachel knows everything. She is leaving me. I need a place to stay." I took a quick glance. The timing couldn't be more perfect. Lauren's face crumpled reading it. She knew it was over. The manager came in because of the noise. I apologized. I paid for the room and told everyone they could stay for dinner on me, but that I had other things to do. On my way out, Lauren grabbed my arm. "Daniel, please," she begged. "We can fix this. I made a mistake. I love you." I looked at her. "You loved what I could offer you. That is different. And Buddy?" she asked as if the cat was her last card to play. "He is happy at my place," I said. "And trust me, he won't miss you. You never cared about him, except for likes on Instagram." Then I walked out, leaving her standing there, stuck between our friends, her parents, and Rachel. I learned later that she tried to follow me, but her own father stopped her. He told her she had to stay and face the mess she had created. Leaving that room was like dropping a weight I didn't even realize I was carrying. The silence behind me was more deafening than her screams could ever have been. For the first time in months, I felt free. No more doubt, no more pretending. Done walking on eggshells. Just me, my dignity, and Buddy waiting for me at home. Last I heard, Edward and Lauren are still together, but it is far from the fairy tale they imagined. Edward's divorce went through, and Rachel ruined him financially. The prenup plus the proof of his infidelity meant he walked away with almost nothing. Today he lives stuck in Lauren's tiny studio, working at a car dealership after his old company fired him because of their office affair. Lauren tried to do damage control for weeks, calling me and messaging me from different numbers until I had to request a restraining order. She even showed up twice at my work crying, begging that she was sorry, that Edward had manipulated her. Security had to escort her out both times. The most pathetic part was that she posted everywhere that she was a victim of financial abuse and that she needed help getting back on her feet. She made up a whole story about how I controlled all our money LOL, and that I had left her with nothing. It was quickly debunked when Jessica and several other friends commented with the truth. She even ended up contacting my mother, begging her to help reach me. My mother replied, "You made your choices. Now live with them." Actually, things went off the rails again a few days ago. I was at home, chilling, when my intercom started ringing like crazy. I checked the camera. Lauren was devastated, screaming my name. I didn't move. I just watched her pounding the button like a crazy person. "Daniel, I know you are up there." She was screaming so loud the neighbors came out. I let her embarrass herself for a minute. Then I finally pressed the button to speak. "Leave before I call the police," I said in a calm, almost bored voice. "You ruined my life," she sobbed. "Edward is cheating on me. He never loved me. I made a mistake. Just let me up so we can talk." I almost burst out laughing. "That is your problem, Lauren, not mine." She started crying with all her might. There, in front of my building, everything was falling apart. I lost my job. We are going to get evicted. I have no one left. For a second, I almost felt pity. Almost. Then I remembered those texts. How she planned to keep me in reserve, to humiliate me, to break me. "Goodbye, Lauren." And I cut the intercom, returning to my evening as if she had never existed. She stayed outside for another hour, alternating between screaming, crying, and begging. Finally, one of my neighbors actually called the police, and they took her away. The next day, I added the incident to my restraining order file. As for Buddy, he is doing wonderfully. I bought him a super cat tree for the apartment. He is crazy about it. Lauren still sometimes posts old photos of him on Instagram, as if he still lived with her. It is sad, actually. But now for the good news. Remember Rachel, Edward's ex-wife? We stayed in touch after all that. No romance at first, just two people processing similar betrayals. We grabbed coffee every 2 weeks. We texted each other about our respective progress in moving on. She is really cool. Clearly too good for Edward. About 3 months ago, coffee turned into dinner. Dinners into weekend hikes. Guess what happened next? We have been officially dating for 2 months. We are taking it slow. We are both still healing, but it is going really well. She is brilliant, accomplished, and above all, honest. We joke saying we have the strongest foundation possible. We have already seen each other at our worst and supported each other through it. Brian, my buddy who helped me with the restaurant plan, says it is poetic justice. The two who got betrayed found happiness together. I wouldn't say that so fast, but I am happier than I have been in a long time. I ran into Jessica at the grocery store last week. She told me Lauren got fired from her job and is trying to start a social media consulting business. Apparently, it is going very poorly. She also told me Lauren and Edward fight constantly. He blames her for not being as rich as Rachel, and she blames him for not being the winning ticket she thought she had snagged. Sometimes I think about how close I came to proposing again, buying that overpriced Tiffany ring she wanted. I was this close to getting played. If I hadn't overheard that conversation at the coffee shop, if Brian hadn't opened my eyes, I might be engaged to her right now, knowing nothing about what was going on behind my back. Instead, I am in my own apartment, my cat purring next to me, and plans for dinner with Rachel tonight. Life takes strange turns sometimes. The important thing is that I am moving on. I don't look at Lauren's social media anymore. I don't ask our mutual friends for updates. She is just a person I knew who taught me a valuable lesson about trust. Rachel and I talked about what we would do if we ever ran into Lauren and Edward together. We decided we would just smile, say hello, and keep walking. The best revenge isn't a Machiavellian plan. It is living well and being truly happy. That is it. Lauren's story is over. Comment. I hope this story reminds you that your dignity is worth more than any relationship built on lies. Sometimes the most painful endings are actually clearing the way for the right beginning. Trusting your intuition is a superpower, so never ignore that quiet voice when something feels off. It takes immense courage to walk away from a future you planned, but you owe it to yourself to choose truth over comfortable deception. Real love does not treat you like a placeholder or a backup plan. Remember that the best response to betrayal isn't getting even, but building your own genuine happiness and peace. Healing can be a slow road, yet it often leads us to people who appreciate us in ways we never imagined. Set your boundaries firmly, and don't apologize for demanding the respect you freely give others. Life has a funny way of working out when you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Take care of your heart, and always choose your peace first. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.